Oh, yeah. LE1s and LE2s. Here we are back with Sergeant Major Clark for another period of instruction. This class is going to cover rank structure. It's a two-part class. The first portion is going to cover the Marine Corps rank. That way, when we get into the Marine Corps JROTC rank, you'll have a better understanding of how one relates to the other. Understanding the names, the nomenclatures, and the ability to identify what each rank means within the Marine Corps rank structure will help you have a better understanding of the rank structure in the ROTC program. Your main goal here is to understand the structure itself so that you have a better understanding of how to broaden your scope of responsibility and scope of authority. This lesson will introduce you to the Marine Corps rank structure, including information on officer and enlisted ranks, what each grade is, and the identifier, aka the insignia. During this class, we're going to be able to identify the Marine Corps officer rank, grade, and insignia, the enlisted rank, grade, and insignia. We're going to be able to differentiate between the officers and enlisted ranks, even though some of them sound similar. And we're going to be able to identify the officer and enlisted rank structure in a sequential order from lowest on the totem pole, if you will, to the highest. Our keywords will always help us take the civilian jargon, turn it into military jargon, and have it make a little bit of sense. So we're going to talk about ranks first. Rank is an official position such as a sergeant or a captain. Now, the insignia is the device that they wear on their uniform to indicate that particular person's enlisted or officer rank. Now, we've got enlisted, we've got officers. We're going to talk about warrant officers during this period of instruction, and you'll have an understanding of how they fall into the rank structure. They are prior enlisted Marines who are technical experts. A warrant is an official certificate or an appointment with a specific enlisted or warrant officer rank. It's the piece of paper that identifies who they are after they've been promoted and what their responsibilities are. You might have, if you've been part of our award ceremonies or our promotion ceremonies, heard the sergeant major or the major read a warrant for promotion. To provide a little bit of background about what ranks and grades are, they are the Marine Corps' way of classifying our personnel. So you have the E chart, which is enlisted. You've got the O chart, which is officer. And then you got the WO chart, which is the warrant officers. So if you ever hear the sergeant major or the major talk about E1s or E2s, that's the enlisted grade. That's the numerical grade assigned to that particular rank. It provides an easy identifier for manpower at headquarters Marine Corps to determine how many people we have, who, and how many of those who's are in a particular grade or rank within the Marine Corps. It is kind of like a school system where you've got grades, numbers, and names of students within the school. In the Marine Corps, we have a rank, grade, and names of all Marines that are available to be promoted, and it helps us figure out how many more people we need to promote in the upcoming years. In addition to leadership and billets and positions of authority and responsibility, the Marine Corps uses rank and grade for, like I mentioned earlier, identifying personnel to determine how many people we need to recruit into the Marine Corps. If we have particular training that's available for a certain rank or an experienced or not so experienced person who might need some more training, we can take a look at the rank and grade rosters. We are able to determine who is available and eligible for promotion. And based on what rank they are, usually determines on how much experience they have. And that also will in turn determine whether or not they're able to be assigned to additional assignments, like a drill instructor or a recruiter or a Marine security guardsman, or if they're an artilleryman, maybe to be in charge of a howitzer section, if they're an infantryman, to be in charge of a squad or a platoon. All of those assignments are based on the rank of that individual and the grade of that individual. And both of those, by an easy eye, you'll be able to tell roughly how much experience someone has. One of the other ways that Marine Corps determines who is and is not eligible for promotion are through promotion selection boards. So the Marine Corps will sit down a couple of times a year and take a look at how many Marines of a particular rank and grade there are within that job, and then determine how many they need to promote or how many newer guys or gals they need to recruit. If you take a look at this slide here, these are just promotion photos that we used to have to send in when we were eligible for promotion. Back in the day, they didn't just look at your record and look at to see what rank you were. They wanted to take a look at you, the individual, to determine whether or not you are physically fit, whether you are a Marine who takes pride, respect, and has dignity for the uniform. They would take all of those things to determine whether or not you might, although you might have been eligible, whether or not you actually deserved to be promoted. So let's dive a little bit into the history of the Marine Corps rank insignia. The Marine Corps rank insignia is a result of thousands of years of tradition. As military organizations started to grow, people really had a hard time figuring out who was in charge. The badge of rank became an important method of identification, both on and off the battlefield. Man has been at war with one another since the dawn of time. Back in the day, through linear warfare, there had to be a way for good guys to determine who their leaders were and to identify good guys from bad guys. Throughout the ages, the rank has included symbols such as feathers, sashes, stripes, and all kinds of flashy uniforms. Anything and everything that those war fighters could use to identify who the leaders were and who the subordinates were is what they used. Now, these feathers and painted stripes on faces and things like that, they were used to identify the leadership on the battlefield, eventually evolved and turned into what we call chevrons, which are worn on modern military uniforms. A chevron is an enlisted rank insignia. It's V-shaped in its stripes, whose use in military goes back to at least the 12th century. The British and the French used chevrons to signify the length of their service, not necessarily who was in charge, but those length of service chevrons eventually turned into the rank insignia version of a chevron. The word chevron is French for the word roof, because, it looks like the roof of a house. The U.S. military started to adopt the chevron officially in 1817 when cadets from West Point wore them on their sleeves. Eventually, the West Point chevron design spread throughout both the Marine Corps and the Army. For many years, the rank of sergeant was one of the highest enlisted ranks that a soldier or Marine could earn. However, that evolved, and eventually Congress created the Marine Corps grade of Sergeant Major in 1798. Sergeant Major Archibald Summers was the first incumbent to that position. Now, he wasn't the first Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, but he was the first Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps, the first Marine ever to earn that rank, Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps would come a little bit later. Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps was established in 1957. This was as a result of the Commandant of the Marine Corps wanting to have a senior enlisted advisor, a right-hand man, if you will, an experienced, chiseled, crusty old veteran who would be able to serve as the senior enlisted Marine and be solely responsible for the good order, the discipline, and the welfare of the enlisted side of the Marine Corps. Once the Marine Corps, because we're always first at everything, established the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps rank and billet, all 5 branches of the service decided to adopt their own version of that senior enlisted personnel. Now, if you take a look at the chevron on the right with the eagle ribbon anchor flanked by 2 5-point stars, that is the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps chevron. 3 stripes up, 4 stripes down, eagle globe and anchor flanked by 2 5-point stars in the middle. Now, the rank on the left is a command sergeant major rank in the Army. A notable difference is the amount of chevrons, or AKA rockers, on the bottom portion of that chevron. 4 for the Marine Corps, 3 for the Army. Up until 1902, chevrons were worn what we consider upside down. I'm sure they would consider ours worn upside down. In 1902, the Marine Corps and the Army enlisted personnel switched to the current configuration. One of the biggest reasons why the senior Marine instructor and I harp on the cadets and beat them up about improper or proper placement of their rank insignia is because the rank insignia is one of the most distinguishing features about the Marine Corps uniform. Even more distinguishing is the rank structure within the Marine Corps because it defines who an individual is. And the same can be said about the ROTC rank structure. You have other human beings who you are responsible for. We identify you as a squad leader, as a platoon commander, platoon sergeant, or a company staff member by the rank placed on your collar. Proper placement is very important because the rank, grade, and insignia identify Marines or cadets as officers or enlisted. They will determine what the name of your title is, what your pay grade is, you're not getting paid, and the device used to identify your rank. An enlisted Marine holds the rank of E1 through E9, E meaning enlisted, and they are, quote unquote, enlisted into the Marine Corps by a local recruiter. They have to have their high school diploma, but most of them have already started working on their college degree. They have to either attend boot camp at Parris Island or San Diego. Now, here's where I want you to pay particular attention because there are 3 categories of enlisted ranks. You're going to be questioned on these during your inspections. And E1 through E3 is a junior enlisted person, a private, PFC, or a lance corporal. Those are junior enlisted. When a Marine is promoted to corporal, E4, and then to sergeant, E5, they become non-commissioned officers. They are the backbone of the Marine Corps. This is the middle management, rubber meets the road, knife handing with one hand, caressing with the other hand type leaders. They're the ones that are going to get you through and bring you home through thick and thin. Then, when you're promoted from sergeant, E5, to staff sergeant, E6, and you are promoted from E6, E7, E8, and E9, in those ranks, E6 through E9, you are what we call a staff non-commissioned officer. Very important that you understand the difference between the 3. When you're required to repeat your rank structure, it'll sound something like this. Sir, private in the Marine Corps is E1. He wears no rank insignia. Sir, E2 in the Marine Corps is private first class. He wears 1 stripe up. Sir, E3 in the Marine Corps is lance corporal. He wears 1 stripe up, cross rifles in the middle. Sir, E4 in the Marine Corps is corporal. He wears 2 stripes up, cross rifles in the middle. Sir, E5 in the Marine Corps is sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, cross rifles in the middle. Sir, E6 in the Marine Corps is staff sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 1 stripe down, cross rifles in the middle. Sir, E7 in the Marine Corps is gunnery sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 2 stripes down, cross rifles in the middle. Sir, E8 in the Marine Corps is master sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 3 stripes down, cross rifles in the middle. Or first sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 3 stripes down, diamond in the middle. Sir, E9 in the Marine Corps is master gunnery sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 4 stripes down, bursting bomb in the middle. Or sergeant major. He wears 3 stripes up, 4 stripes down, star in the middle. Or sergeant major of the Marine Corps. He wears 3 stripes up, 4 stripes down, eagle globe and anchor flanked by 2 5-point stars in the middle. That's a lot to remember. Better start now. So now let's shift to the Marine Corps officers. Marine Corps officers hold the rank of O1, Officer 1, through O10. They are, quote unquote, commissioned by the president, either through a collegiate ROTC program, through one of the military academies, or through one of the officer programs that the officer selection officers reach out to and find local college students to apply for some or one of the officer programs. Now, there are programs out there for enlisted Marines to make the switch to an officer program, but they must have a college degree. All officers, whether they were prior enlisted or not, have to have a college degree. They will attend Officer Candidate School at Quantico, Virginia. Now, pay attention here. As well, there are 3 categories of officer ranks, like there are 3 categories of enlisted ranks. The first one is 01 through 03. These are company grade officers. All right, these are lieutenants and captains who will work down at the smallest, lowest company level. Then they will get promoted. 04 through 06 are field grade officers, and then 07 through 010 are general officers. There are generals, but we'll talk about which are the different types of field grade officers and generals here in a second. Sir, 01 in the Marine Corps is second lieutenant. He wears 1 gold bar. Sir, 02 in the Marine Corps is first lieutenant. He wears 1 silver bar. Sir, 03 in the Marine Corps is captain. He wears 2 silver bars. Sir, 04 in the Marine Corps is major. He wears 1 gold Oakley. Sir, 05 in the Marine Corps is lieutenant colonel. He wears 1 silver Oakley. Sir, 06 in the Marine Corps is colonel. He wears 1 silver eagle. Sir, 07 in the Marine Corps is brigadier general. He wears 1 silver star. Sir, 08 in the Marine Corps is major general. He wears 2 silver stars. Sir, 09 in the Marine Corps is lieutenant general. He wears 3 silver stars. Sir, 010 in the Marine Corps is general. He wears 4 silver stars. That is what I expect to hear out of your mouth when asked to regurgitate Marine Corps officer rank structure. Now, take a look at this slide, and I want to go back to our 3 categories of officer ranks. If you take a look at the second lieutenant, first lieutenant, and captain, that's the 1 bar gold, 1 bar silver, and 2 bars silver. Those are your company grade officers. A captain is the company commander, and the lieutenants are usually platoon commanders. Very similar to our ROTC rank structure. Now, skip to the 2 oak leaves in the middle, and then the full bird colonel in the middle. Those are your field grade officers. Those are your battalion executive officers, your battalion and regimental commanders. Then you've got the general officer ranks, 07 through 010. Now, there's a ditty that I would like you to memorize. Be my little general. Be my little general. B brigadier, M major, L lieutenant, G general. That's the way I remembered the rank structure when I was a young devil pup trying to remember out and figure out who to salute and when not to salute and who to just turn around and run away from. Be my little general. Now, here's where it gets a little weird. I want you to know that the JROTC programs do not have warrant officers. So you've got the enlisted folk who came in through a recruiter. They are usually high school graduates. Either they do or do not have a degree. Most of them are working on theirs, but they are enlisted workforce. Then you have the officer rank structure who, upon graduation from college, will go to officer candidate school instead of boot camp, and then they will earn a commission. They will be commissioned by the president, and they will jump right into a leadership position right when they get into the Marine Corps as an officer, a commissioned officer. Then the third category are your warrant officers. Your warrant officers hold the rank of W01 through CW05. They are 100% solely made up of prior enlisted Marines. Now, these Marines have specialties and a skill set in a certain field, such as having the knowledge, the training, and the experience within a particular system or with specific equipment. They are the duty experts on tanks or artillery or weapons or repairs or logistics or something like that. They receive a warrant commission also by the president. They're selected through an arduous board process, meaning there's a group of individuals like all of the other promotions, but these are selected through a board process where they have sergeants through gunnery sergeants. Sergeants through master sergeants and first sergeants applying to become a warrant officer. Now, they do not go to officer candidate school because they have already gone to boot camp. But what they do is they send these warrant officers through what's called the basic school, which is kind of like a follow-on boot camp type school for commissioned officers and warrant officers. A WO1 is your warrant officer, and a CWO2 through CWO5 is a chief warrant officer. So there are 3 categories of enlisted, 3 categories of officers, but 2 categories of warrant officers. Sir, WO1 in the Marine Corps is warrant officer. He wears 1 gold bar, 2 red squares. Sir, CWO2 in the Marine Corps is chief warrant officer 2. He wears 1 gold bar, 3 red squares. Sir, CWO3 in the Marine Corps is chief warrant officer 3. He wears 1 silver bar, 2 red squares. Sir, CWO4 in the Marine Corps is chief warrant officer 4. He wears 1 silver bar, 3 red squares. Sir, CWO5 in the Marine Corps is chief warrant officer 5. He wears 1 silver bar, 1 red stripe. So let's continue to talk about some different ways to memorize our officer rank structure. Number 1, if you are dealing with precious metals, as much as we love to flash our bling and wear gold around our neck like Mr. T, I pity the fool who don't wear gold necklaces. Well, the truth is gold is not as durable as silver is. So when you're looking at your rank insignias for officers and the rank structure of officers, gold is always the lesser of the two. Not, I don't mean to be less important, but the subordinate metal. Gold will always come first. It is not physically as durable as silver. So your second lieutenant is an 01. He wears 1 gold bar. A first lieutenant wears 1 silver bar. It kind of sounds weird. 01 is a second lieutenant, but an 02 is a first lieutenant. You would think that would be backwards. Well, think of it like this. First place and second place. All right. The higher is first place. Silver is more precious than gold. From first lieutenant, you'll be promoted to captain. And all you're simply doing is taking that silver bar and adding another to it. Now, those are your company grade officers. Now we're going to shift into the field grade officers, and then the gold and silver kind of turn around again. So you've got major, which is a gold oak leaf, and then from there you'll get promoted to lieutenant colonel, which is a silver oak leaf. You got 2 oak leaves. Gold is less durable than silver. Silver is the more valuable metal of the 2, but you've also got a colonel rank, which is 1 silver eagle. That colonel rank has a subordinate colonel called a lieutenant colonel. And then from there, you get promoted to what we call full bird colonel, 06. So your 04, 05, and 06, those are your field grade officers. This is the second of the 3 categories. Then you roll into B, my little general. B, brigadier general. M, major general. L, lieutenant general. And G is just general. Now, here's what I tell you. If you come across any of these general ranked officers, they are all referred to as general if they're the only one in the room. When more than one of them walk into the room, then you're going to have to be, because you and I are both the subordinate ranks to these individuals, you will then identify them as major general and lieutenant general and general, because there's more than one of them standing side by side. So, to recap, gold bar is subordinate to a silver bar. A silver bar is subordinate to 2 silver bars. Those are your company grade officers. 01, second lieutenant. 02, first lieutenant. 03, captain. Then you move to the field grade officers, majors, lieutenant colonels, and colonels, gold oak leaf, silver eagle, and then be my little general, general officers. Very similar to the officer ranks, the warrant officers have a gold, silver type of structure to it. All right, so your W01 is a warrant officer with 1 gold bar, 2 red squares. Those red squares is what identifies the warrant officer as being something completely separate than a lieutenant. From 2 red squares, we stay with gold. We're jumping up to 1 gold bar with 3 red squares. Now, from here, I'm going to the higher priority medal, which is silver, but I'm going back down to 2 red squares. A Chief Warrant Officer 3 wears 1 silver bar and 2 red squares, and a CWO4, Chief Warrant Officer 4, also wears 1 silver bar, but with 3 red squares. So, gold, silver, 2 squares, 3 squares, 2 squares, 3 squares. Now, the CWO5 rank in our history is actually relatively new. It's only been around for a couple of decades. The Chief Warrant Officer 5 rank is 1 silver bar with 1 red stripe. Gold 2, gold 3, silver 2, silver 3, silver, red stripe. Now let's talk about some easy ways to memorize the enlisted rank structure. The first one is the easiest, E1. There is no rank insignia. Sir, private in the Marine Corps is E1. He wears no stripes. From private, I'm going to get promoted to private first class. Woohoo! I'm in first class of the airplane. I have 1 stripe. And then it's easy from here to sergeant because all I'm doing is adding stripes and rifles. So, a lance corporal is a subordinate corporal. He is a junior enlisted Marine. Privates, PFCs, and lance corporals. They're your junior enlisted guys. All I'm going to do is take that 1 stripe as a private, and I'm adding a cross rifle. The reason is the mindset of the Marine Corps is that all Marines are basic riflemen. I don't care if you're a bread baker or candlestick maker. Every Marine, regardless of what job they have in the Marine Corps, are all trained to be a basic infantry rifleman. So now I move on from my junior enlisted to my non-commissioned officer ranks. All I'm going to do for corporal and sergeant is add a stripe. So I go from private, 1 stripe up, lance corporal, 1 stripe up, cross rifles in the middle, corporal, 2 stripes up, cross rifles in the middle, sergeant, 3 stripes up, cross rifles in the middle. It's a building block. Lance corporal, PFCs, and privates, those are your junior ranks, junior enlisted, and then you got your non-commissioned officers, which are E4s and E5s, corporals and sergeants. Now I move on to my staff non-commissioned officers. It's easy to remember because the first rank in your staff non-commissioned officer ranks is staff sergeant. Now, here you're shifting gears. You're done for the rest of the memorization of starting at the top to add stripes. Now, you're going to start on the bottom and add what we call a rocker. So, when I get promoted to staff sergeant, my scope of authority and scope of responsibility leaps and bounds ahead of my non-commissioned officer ranks. I just have a larger number of people and a lot more stuff to be responsible for. Now, the easiest way to remember it is 3 stripes up, 1 stripe down, cross rifles in the middle. From staff sergeant, I'm staying in my staff non-commissioned officer bracket, and I'm going to get promoted to gunnery sergeant. I am adding a stripe on the bottom. 3 stripes up, 2 stripes down, cross rifles in the middle. From gunnery sergeant, I have a choice. Kinda. When I sit down to do my reporting with my seniors, when I'm a gunny, aka gunnery sergeant, aka gunny, then I have to tell the Marine Corps in writing that I either A, would like to be promoted to master sergeant, or B, be promoted to first sergeant. Now, they both get paid the same amount of money. They're both E8s in the Marine Corps. But from gunnery sergeant to master sergeant, I stay in my job field, in my military occupational specialty, aka my MOS. So I was a field artilleryman. When I got promoted to master sergeant, I would have stayed in the artillery community. I didn't ask to be promoted to master sergeant. I asked to be promoted to first sergeant. If I am a master sergeant, I am sharing a lot of those same responsibilities that a warrant officer would. Meaning, I am the duty expert. I am the subject matter expert in all things that job. I am the technical guru. I will stay in that job and I will be promoted. If I'm selected for master sergeant, I get promoted to master gunnery sergeant. But I chose personally to ask to be promoted to first sergeant. I loved artillery and I would have been a great master sergeant. I like to think, that's my own ego talking, but I like to think that I would have been we'll call it a half decent master sergeant. But I wanted to see a bit more of the Marine Corps and experience some things outside of the artillery community. So every unit in the Marine Corps, every company level unit in the Marine Corps rates a first sergeant. So I wanted to be the senior enlisted advisor to a commander. So a first sergeant works hand in hand with a company commander. Very similar to our rank structure and our billet structure here in the ROTC program. I wanted to be the subject matter expert on all things Marine Corps, not just the subject matter expert on all things artillery. Now, you have to have a very good working relationship if you're a master sergeant or first sergeant because they coexist very well. They have to. There's a lot of synergy going on there. But if I'm promoted to gunny from staff sergeant, when I pick up gunny, aka gunnery sergeant, I will ask, and it does not always work like that. They will tell you what you're going to get promoted to, but you have to at least ask to be promoted to either master sergeant or first sergeant. So here we go. If I'm promoted from gunny to master sergeant, all I'm simply doing is adding a stripe to the bottom of that chevron. 3 stripes up, 3 stripes down, cross rifles in the middle. However, if I am selected and then subsequently promoted to first sergeant from gunnery sergeant, I add a stripe and my weaponry in the middle of my chevron changes to a star, a shape. So an E8 in the Marine Corps is master sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 3 stripes down, cross rifles in the middle. Or a first sergeant. He wears 3 stripes up, 3 stripes down, diamond in the middle. So let's say I got promoted to master sergeant. I can only be promoted to master gunnery sergeant. It's in the name. Gunnery sergeant, master gunnery sergeant. That's the easiest way that I can remember. Gunnery sergeant and master sergeant. And then I just threw those words together and then I became a master gunnery sergeant. Now, here's how I remembered it as a young devil pup. I wasn't quite a devil dog yet. Yut, yut. I was a little devil pup. Burp, burp. I would take a look at that chevron and look at the weaponry. If a cross rifle is a weapon, also a weapon is a bursting bomb. It looks like a pineapple. It's not. It's a bursting bomb. So if I am promoted from master sergeant, I have a weapon system in my chevron. I can only be promoted to that other chevron that has another weapon system in it, which is master gunnery sergeant. Now let's back up a little bit. If I got promoted to first sergeant instead of master sergeant, I also would add a stripe, but I am keeping a shape in the center of my chevron, meaning I have 3 stripes up, 4 stripes down now, and a star in the middle. So master sergeant, 3 stripes down, cross rifles, weapon in the middle, master gunnery sergeant, bursting bomb in the middle, 4 stripes down. If I was a first sergeant, I have a diamond, and then I get promoted to sergeant major, I have a star. Both of those are shapes. Every one of us were the goofball toddler trying to put a square peg in a round hole. All you got to do is change a diamond to a star and add a stripe. First sergeant to sergeant major. Then you have the one and the only sergeant major of the Marine Corps. I cannot become the one and the only sergeant major of the entire Marine Corps if I was a master gunnery sergeant. If I'm a master gunnery sergeant, there is no way that I am eligible to become the sergeant major of the Marine Corps. The sergeant major of the Marine Corps is only selected from the sergeants major in the Marine Corps. It's a very, very arduous process, and there is only one of them. There is only one person in the Marine Corps who wears 3 stripes up, 4 stripes down, Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, flanked by 2 5-point stars in the middle, and that's the sergeant major of the Marine Corps. I know it's a lot to take in, but those are some tricks of the trade that I've used along the way to memorize my enlisted rank structure. If you are receiving this class in a classroom environment instead of the virtual environment, which you are now, what would normally happen is we would play a couple of games. We have a couple of exercises where a rank would get flashed on the screen like a flashcard, and you would have to answer the questions. What's going to happen instead is every time you come into class for inspection, I'm going to have the evaluators and the inspectors ask you a series of rank structure questions on enlisted, on officer, and on one officer. Then we're going to play rank structure knockout, where I actually use real flashcards. I stand in front of the classroom. Everybody is at parade rest. And by the end of the stack of flashcards, whoever has lasted left, the prize is you're not down on the deck doing 8-count bodybuilders with everyone else who got it wrong. During this period of instruction, we have gone over a bit of history of the ranks and the chevrons. We've talked about the evolution of how we identify ourselves, our billets, and our responsibilities that go along with that rank. And we've gone into some easy to memorize identifiers for memorizing these ranks for your practical application. I'm hopeful that you are paying attention during this period of instruction, because if you did, then you will have an easier time on the next period of instruction, which is Marine Corps Junior ROTC rank insignia and rank structure. I appreciate your time. Semper Fidelis, and as always, area!